how to organize and work with data, and we're going to use the data from the Be a Juror experiment. Now hopefully you've had a chance to try that experiment. You can use the instructions in lab number 2, and you can see those right here. I know it didn't work in the lab computers, but please give it a try on your own home computer to complete the experiment. It'll help you to understand the kind of data that we're going to be working with, and we're going to be using this data for the next 3 or 4 weeks actually. So read through the instructions completely so that you have an idea about what we're doing before you watch the rest of this video. So what you're going to see in this data file is the columns, and our data columns are always going to have participants or subjects in rows, and then all of our variables that we've measured are going to be in columns across the top. So there's a user ID, which is just a random number that's assigned to participants, their self-identified gender, their self-identified age in years, the total time they were in the experiment, which is in seconds, the categorical independent variable, and if you remember from the lab, there are 3 independent variables. There's no eyewitness at all, there's a credible eyewitness, and then there's a refuted eyewitness who was legally blind. Okay? Then there is a dependent variable, which is the measure of guilt on a 1 to 7 scale. Okay, so this is our dependent variable that we're measuring. The idea is that variation in the presence of a witness is then going to cause a change in the level of an independent variable. Okay, the first thing you have to do, if you scroll all the way down, you need to calculate the number of participants total that we've used in this experiment. And the way you can do that is using the count function. You just type in equals count, and then open parentheses, and then you can just highlight the entire data column from the first age, so that's cell C2, you can see that right here, all the way down to C100, close parentheses, and then hit enter. And it's going to give you 99 as your total number of participants. Okay. The next thing you want is the sum of the age of participants, and the way you do that in Excel is you just type in equals sum, and most spreadsheet programs use the same terms to calculate formulas. So equals sum, open parentheses, then you highlight, same thing, you're going to highlight all of the age, so from C2 through C100 again, close parentheses and hit enter. And what you can see is that we have 99 participants, and the sum of all the ages is 2,534. As you probably remember from your statistics class, or maybe even from statistics in high school, the way you calculate mean is you sum up all your scores and you divide by the number of participants or the number of data points you have. So this is equals, you can just type in equals average, open parentheses, and then you can highlight all of this data. Okay, oops, even I make mistakes. You can also type it in by hand instead of highlighting. So it's C2 colon to C100. Okay, and then you hit enter, and that is going to equal 25.59 is our average age. Okay. Alternatively, if you didn't want to do the Excel calculation, you can do it yourself, right? You can just take the sum of all of these ages that we've already calculated and divide by 99. So that would just be equals 2,534, or cell C103, that divided by 99, or C102, and that's going to give you the same score, 25.595959. Okay, so now you've got all those calculations. You can do the same things over here. Hopefully you should have the same number of participants. Again, equals count, open parentheses, highlight all of these. So this is in column D. So it's D2 through D100, and it's going to give you nothing. That didn't work. And you can see here it's got a little error value. That's because it's treating these as text instead of numbers. So I can highlight this and select convert to a number. And voila, now I've got 99. That's what I needed. Okay, next I need to calculate the sum. So equals sum, open parentheses, and again I can just type it by hand or I can highlight. So it starts from D100 and I go all the way up to D2. Close parentheses, hit enter. If at any point I'm going too fast, please pause this video so that you can go back and review what we just did. Okay, so again, 2 things I can do. I can either equals 8,360.66 divided by 99, or I can just use the average function. Again, that didn't work for some reason. Wonder why that didn't work. Okay, equals average, open parentheses. Let's see what's going on. So that got a number. Okay, same things that I want to do over here. I want to calculate the total of all my participants. Now, of course, logic should tell you that there should be 99 counts on this dependent variable. Equals count, open parentheses, highlight, close parentheses, 99. Okay, I'm going to do the sum function again, equals sum, open parentheses, same thing. This is column F, as you can see right here. So it goes from F2 here at the top through F100, and you can see that right here in this function box. The mean guilt should be 428 divided by 99, 4.32. Okay, there we go. There, and I've been able to convert that one. There. Okay, I think I've got them all now. The next thing I need to do is I don't want, of course, the average of guilt for all of my groups, right? Because this is an average for every participant, all 99 participants. But in fact, I've actually got 3 different groups of participants, right? I've got people who saw independent variable group 1, independent variable group 2, and independent variable group 3. Okay? Now, to remind myself about who was in which group, I'm going to go back to my lab. And I'm going to look up, because I wrote it down on here. Here we go. 1 is no eyewitness, 2 is an unrefuted eyewitness or a credible eyewitness, and then 3 was my discredited eyewitness. Okay? So, this is only for group 1, so this is no eyewitness at all, and I'm going to do equals count, open parentheses, and now I'm always going to use my dependent variable column, but only for the people who their independent variable was equal to 1. Okay, only for the people whose independent variable was equal to 1. So I've got 27 people in that group. Then I want to do the same thing for independent variable group 2, count, and only for the people who were equal to group 2. So it actually goes through, here we go. There we go. F29 to F63. And then lastly, independent variable group 3 equals count, open parentheses, here, everyone that was a group 3. Okay. Alternatively, there is another thing I can do. I could just use the count function here and just highlight group 3, and that should give me the same answer, should give me 37. In this group, I would just highlight the people whose independent variable was equal to 2, and I could do, for the last one, just highlighting the people who were independent variable group 1. The numbers, of course, should all be the same. Then I'm going to do the sum. Again, this is going to be the sum of the dependent variable. So this is just for group 1. So that's sum of the dependent variable. So F2 through F28. Okay. This one is going to be equals sum. This should be probably F29 right here through F63. And that means this is going to be equal to the sum of F64 through F100. Okay. And then I can either just use the average function and type in equals average and select those cells, or what's right here and very convenient, just select G103 divided by G102, and then I'm going to remove this to 2 decimal places, just so I know what it is. Okay, so my average for independent variable group 1 was 4.30. I can recalculate these formulas, and that can be a valuable thing if you're learning the formulas, but hopefully you're pretty familiar with mean and how to calculate it. So the other thing you can do is you can actually drag formulas across. So if I want to calculate the mean of this group using the same formula that I did right here, I can select this green box in the lower hand corner, hold down my left mouse button, and I can drag it across. Okay, now you may not have seen that, so let me show you what I did. Let me undo that. So I can hold down this little green dot in the corner. Oops. Should be a black cross. Pull it across, and I can even pull it across both. And you can see it pulls the formatting, so it's in 2 decimal places. And this is H103 divided by H102. And this one over here is I103 divided by I102. So you can already see that the means are different. Independent variable group 1 had a mean gilt of 4.3. Independent variable group 2, which is the unrefuted, the credible eyewitness, had a 4.63 gilt. And the blind eyewitness, the legally blind eyewitness, actually had the lowest gilt with a 4.05. Even less guilty than having no eyewitness at all, if you think about how that might be.